now marches its army backwards up a small hill. And the team's limited reserves retreat the furthest from the Persians.
Do you want to put the reserves quite close, or do you want them...
You want to be able to move them up quickly. You don't want to have them so they take 20 minutes to get in.
They're talking about using a tactical reserve, and the problem with that, as far as their army is concerned, is that the Greeks didn't really use tactical reserves. They fought in one huge formation. There was a good reason for that. These Corinthian helmets, which covered all of the face and the head, meant that you couldn't see much, and you certainly couldn't hear much. They fought in one solid body, and that was their only chance.
And make sure you stay on the slope, Scott, as much as possible.
Okay.
Yeah?
So you want the whole thing on the slope?
We want everything on the slope. We don't want to be on the flat too early. We want them to have to come to us.
So the team's aggressive hoplites are told to wait on the slope, where their ability to charge is seriously reduced.
The further up the hill we get, you see, the better protection we get from the archers, because the archers aren't going to be able to fire as far up a hill.
Dave's fear of the Persian archers is driving him further from a fight, when his best chance of victory lies in a brutal heavy charge at the Persian front line.
And make sure your skirmishers are easily pick-outable.
Yeah. Skirmishers at the moment are way down in the front.
Oh, well, they've got to come right up.
We need them back as well.
Okay.
Well, they've got to run over there to pick a fire.
Yeah, but we don't
Yeah, not yet, though.
This is all freebies at the moment.
The battle plan, as we can see it at the moment, is not going to work, and the reason it won't is because they've reduced their total frontage, and it will be very easy for this vastly superior Persian army to outflank them.
But Scott's recognised this danger, and he's come up with a cunning plan.
We can split the troops in half so that we can get twice the length.
They'll be a bit thin then, won't they?
No, it'd be too thin.
Okay.
I mean, we already decided at the beginning that we had to keep fairly compact.
Yeah.
We did.
In a split second, Scott's inspired suggestion is dismissed by his generals. A chance for success has been squandered.
That looks good. I like that.
Okay, and now you're going to get another advantage. Despite all the technical 21st century help we've given you already, we're going to give you a real-time satellite feed of your battlefield.
That's exactly what we had. We were in a different place, but that's about...
Well, that's all we got.
That's all we got, so that's what we got to do.
Of course, now they can actually see this satellite view. It's telling them one crucial thing, and that is that the Persian army's front is very spread out. Their best protection against that is to spread their own front out. They should know that, because they were told at the beginning that they are vulnerable to attacks from the flank. But what worries me is that they've got two lines and they're going to keep them.
We might have to spread out into a longer line to stop being outflanked. It's the first thing you can see.
This is going to be, yeah.
Dave thinks that he can have a plan B that will allow them to redeploy on a wider front. But unless he redeploys now, he will not get a chance. He will be enveloped. The Persians can easily envelop him both sides.
But it looks like Dave may have realised his mistake.
The first thing I want to do is start moving the whole front 6 divisions out wider.
We're going to go out.
Okay? And forwards, obviously.
At last, the team hit on the right strategy, deciding to broaden their line and move their troops back to the flat ground. But as they retrace their steps, the mighty Persian army begins to advance. 25,000 troops on behalf of Darius, King of Kings, close on the outnumbered volunteers of the city of Athens. In the first sign of Greek aggression, the team send their lightly armed skirmishers down the slope to face the Persian advance. And behind them come the hoplites, returning to the flat plain where they should work best.
That's excellent, Scott. Kez, can you get him to do that?
Do the same thing, Kez.
Okay, okay.
Kez, you need to get them in a line. That's it. And move them in that line forward.
Right, Scott, move the reserves up.
They are spreading their front. That's a good thing, but it's looking like a bit of a dog's dinner at the moment.
The Persian archers are getting within range, in preparation to launch their first attack.
Oh, we're getting pinged up with the skirmishers.
Some pinging.
With their skirmishers held back as cannon fodder, can the team march their heavier troops back down the hill in time to make their mark?
Time is crucial. They've got to engage the Persians as quickly as possible because the Persian cavalry are in the wings and they may deploy them at any moment. The longer the battle goes on, the more the danger that the Persian cavalry are going to be used.
Chaps, their cavalry's moving in.
Right.
Can you see that? Just appearing up onto the screen now is the Persian cavalry, and that is the danger that the Athenians have got.
But while the Persian cavalry make their way onto the battlefield, the generals focus on their skirmishers, still unsupported and under siege from arrow fire.
Are these guys getting pinged at? Right, charge them into some archers or something. Make them do something.
Despite mounting losses, the lone skirmishers plough on, hoping to get within range to launch their javelins at the enemy.
They're just getting shot at the moment because they haven't got the range.
Is the word you're looking for attack?
Yeah, that would be a good one.
But if arrows weren't enough, now the Persian slingers have a go at the Greeks.
They're unsupported, they've got no armour. That force will be wiped out. They're dropping like flies.
Without launching a single javelin, the skirmishers abandon the bloodbath, forcing their generals to commit their heavier troops.
Right, let's move everyone forward.
Okay, everything together.
At last, the hoplites reach the flat plain, where they began, and this army of poets and politicians, farmers and freemen begins the short march towards the Persians. But has the slope sapped their energy? Can the soldiers of General Miltiades maintain their critical formation?
Move up on the left-hand side, Scott.
Right,
rapidly.
Bring the skirmishers back, Kerry.
Move up on the left-hand side, rapidly.
Taking fright at the Persian archers, the generals instruct their left flank to advance ahead of their right, splitting their broad front line. Having done their job, the archers now retreat towards the safety of the Persian line. Now the team must rely on their hastily redeployed hoplites to smash the Persians.
They've got a broader front, which is good, but they're in no sort of order to actually fight, and yet the fight is about to begin.
On the general's orders, the team's front line has now split in two, and Scott's left-hand flank are about to engage with the Persians.
We're engaging. We're in.
They've got their left flank moving in on the Persians, but they're opening up their center. There are two ragged edges of the Athenian army, and the Persians are going to be able to roll them up.
Separated from their comrades on the left, Kerry's right flank now engage with the enemy. At last, the hoplites can get stuck in. And at close quarters, they butcher the lightly armed Persians. But the team have failed to protect their flanks, and the Persians seize the advantage, sending a group of infantry behind Greek lines on the right.
The Persians are doing just the right thing, which is getting round the sides. And the only way to prevent that is to have as broad a front as possible and to engage as fast as possible.
Kerry, the very, very right-hand battalion of your four, I want them to stop. The rest can keep on going forwards, otherwise they're going to get outflanked.
No, go back with them, in fact.
But it's too late to go back, and the Persian army complete their flanking maneuver.
We need to get the cavalry into this lot over on the far left.
The generals are unable to get Kez to do what they want her to.
But Eric, this was a problem that was set up because the battle plan was uncertain. We knew from that point that they would not have enough time to deploy their troops, however well the communication was between the two.
How do you think it's going?
Bad. On the right-hand side, it's bad.
We didn't move up fast enough into them, and we didn't stop that outside group. These aren't moving yet.
No, we need to move the cavalry right-hand side.
They're still talking about the cavalry. They don't have any cavalry. They've got generals. Whatever they do with them, they're going to be knocked out pretty swiftly.
While the team indulge their fantasy of a fictitious cavalry, there are horsemen aplenty on the Persian side. And having left the beach behind them, they're now closing in on the battlefield. Miltiades may be experienced, but will the team notice this new threat in time?
Right, Kerry, you've got a battalion of guys that aren't doing anything.
I don't know where you mean.
You see there's a big group of guys doing nothing? I want them over to the right. We've got a load surrounded. Get those guys there. the big bunch of guys.
Big bunch in the middle where...
Right.
Oh, yeah, those ones.
More
Send
or
them to the
less
right.
identical.
Some of the Athenians aren't even engaged at this point, Eric, and that's the problem. They simply don't have enough men to be able to afford to not use them.